Hi, my name is Patrick, and here I'm here going to discuss about how did I formulate my strategy for the MBA CT exam. So I have scored rank 1 twice and scored a 99.99 percentile many times in the CT examination. So the focus out here is how to go about cracking the exam purely based on strategy. So let me start with how did I go about preparing. So I prepared for the CAT first. Then I wrote around 15 to 20 mocks for CT, okay, just to formulate my strategy. The focus of solving the mocks was strategy. When I practiced, I focused on the areas which I had to improve. Okay, I identified the areas which I could improve and just practice those questions. So here the discussion is how did I go about formulating my strategy for the CT examination, and this should hopefully help you to formulate your strategy and what is required to form a strategy. So just a difference, during my time, the paper was a paper-based test. There were 200 questions. There were questions on visuals, logic, DI, maths, etc. But the questions were all jumbled. Like now we have section-wise paper, but the question was at that time quite jumbled. Okay, so you had 5 questions of maths, 5 questions of logic, and so on. So you might have to search for a maths question if you actually had to solve a maths question. Today you directly get a maths question by going to the maths section. Okay, that's how it was. So there was advantage, disadvantage, but the strategy formulation will remain the same what we did that time and what we do right now. When I wrote the first time, I was not aware of the CT paper, so it was jumbled. From the CAT, which was section-based paper, when you come to a CT paper, you are really surprised. So I wrote the paper from first question in sequence. So started from first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and went about it. Now obviously there were 200 questions in 150 minutes. I couldn't complete the paper at all. So since I couldn't complete the paper at all, what was the result was that I ended up solving some questions on my weak area. So my weak area was verbal and visuals. Visuals were something which is very new to me. I didn't know about it. And my strong area was quant DI logic. So when I solved from 1 to 200, I realized that I solved few questions of verbal and visuals, which were my weak area, and left some questions of quant DI logic, which was my strong area, because I went from first to last. So whatever questions came in, I started solving it. I thought this was not a good strategy. I revised that strategy and I said, okay, this must not be a good strategy. What should I do next? Paper, after writing every mock, please analyze, was the strategy good for you? Was the strategy bad for you? Also try to stick to a strategy for at least 3 mocks, because till you write 3 mocks, you will not come to know whether a strategy is good for you or bad for you. So here I next went to the second strategy. So I said I'll solve my questions which I was strong at first. And if time available, I'll solve verbal and visuals, whatever remaining time. So I first focus on quant, DI, logic sections, and then I went to verbal and visual section. That's how my plan was. In the meantime, I also practice visuals. So in a side by side, as in when I was writing the mocks, I practiced visuals because it was a completely new area. And I realized that I could make it a strong area by practicing it. So what was the result of the second strategy? Scores did not improve much. I mean, I did a new strategy, I was solving my strong area, but there was no improvement in scores as I expected. I analyzed and realized that I usually get more marks per minute in verbal and less in other areas, because verbal takes less time. So for example, if I give 5 verbal questions, okay, and if I take 2 minutes to solve, and out of 5 I get 3 correct, so which means I get 3 marks in 2 minutes. But say if I have a 5 quant question, I get all 5 correct in 5 minutes. So I get 5 marks in 5 minutes. So technically I'm getting more marks in verbal than max, 50% more marks. So it made sense for me to solve verbal than mathematics. As I realized that when I analyzed the paper. So I realized I should solve verbal in preference to maths, and I also made my visuals my strong area. In verbal too, I realized that in RC and Jamal Para had low marks per minute. So therefore RC and Jamal Para did not make to focus, because it took more time and therefore accuracy was low and therefore low marks. So I came to my third strategy. I realized I had to solve verbal. So I started with verbal. This was apart from RC and Jamal Para, where my marks per minute was less. So I focused on verbal first, then went to other strong areas, and if time permit, I thought I'll do Jumble Para and RC. So that was the sequence, third strategy. So here my scores improved. Yes, because verbal was less marks per minute, more marks per minute. So when I solved that, my scores improved. But it soon became stagnant after a few marks. So I get went to analyze. So analysis showed that I take extra time in verbal in the start of the paper. So when I started the paper in verbal, I should take more time, like for say 30-40 questions of verbal, I should take 30 minutes or 25 minutes. Because when in the start of the type paper, you have a lot of time to complete the paper. And because you have a lot of time to complete the paper, you normally take extra time of thinking. So I used to take more time for verbal question at the start. And I also realized that if I solve verbal in the start or verbal in the end, my accuracy is the same. It doesn't change. So I had a fourth strategy. So I solved all areas except verbal first. So I had made visuals my strong area. So I started with logic, maths, DI and visuals. All four areas. When 30 minutes was left, I mean when I completed 2 hours of the paper was over and 30 minutes was left, I went to verbal. No matter where I was, I left everything and went to verbal section. I solved all the verbal questions apart from jumble para. I didn't solve jumble para and RC and I was able to solve in 15 minutes. Remember I should 25 minutes earlier? Now I am taking 15 minutes for the 40 questions. I was faster because under time pressure in the end, I was much more faster as compared to before. Okay, but accuracy was same because it was all on gut feel that was there. My verbal was a weak area, so my accuracy, whether I solved at the start or the end, was the same. Okay, and in last 10 minutes, I came back to my strong area with 5 minutes to guess mark. So this was a strategy I formulated, the fourth strategy. The strategy worked really well. So I was able to, because I saved around 5 to 10 minutes on my verbal, that helped me to score more in the other sections. So overall my scores improved. I also realized that solving verbal first or last did not make a difference because my accuracy was the same. And I could solve more questions because of the extra time. In the meantime, I also practiced jumble para. I realized I could improve my accuracy in jumble para. So I focused on jumble para and improved my marks from 1 out of 5 to 4 out of 5. So it was normally consistently 1 out of 5. Practicing jumble para, I came to 4 out of 5. Okay, that time jumble para was individual sets, 5 different sets which was there. So fourth strategy. So with this I finalized my strategy and went for the exam. So in the exam the strategy really worked well. I was able to solve all questions except verbal in 2 hours 5 minutes. Okay, normally I planned for 2 hours. Because my section was getting over, I extended 5 minutes more. So I finished the whole paper in 2 hours 5 minutes to 4 areas. Now because of the exam pressure, those 35 to 40 questions of verbal I finished in 10 minutes. I usually normally take 15 minutes, but because of the pressure I went even faster. So I finished in 10 minutes. So I still had time, 15 minutes left. So I solved jumble para and RC and was able to complete a paper 3 minutes before time. So I had completed a paper as per plan. So I scored maybe a 759 in my first attempt. I was around third overall. Okay, the result was third, was very good because at that time my aptitude was not very great. My aptitude improved later on. I had not cracked the CAT that year and I was not doing really well in my other aptitude examination. So being third in CET was a very good achievement for me because there were other students who had got calls from all IIMs and they were also writing the paper. And considering that, third rank was mainly because of strategy. Okay, not purely aptitude, purely because of strategy. So I feel that strategy plays a very important role in the examination. And you will only know what works for you, what does not work for you by experimenting. So the recommendation is to keep on experimenting in your paper. If you keep experimenting in your paper, you will come to know what and keep work and analyze. Okay, see what works, not works. So ideally I say, right, at least around 2 to 3 marks with one strategy before you change the strategy. And then you can change, make modification based on your analysis, see where you can improve, where you cannot improve. And accordingly work on those areas to improve. So in the last few days, I think strategy formulation becomes very important. Only maybe when you come to March, you can fix your strategy. Last 1 week, you can keep your strategy fixed. But before that, you can experiment, keep experimenting. So in the next video, maybe I'll come to some tips on how to form strategy for CET exam. So if you like this video, please press the like button and you can subscribe to whatever more videos that I can come out with. Right? Hope this was helpful. Thank you and see you during the next video.